We are live now, Chair.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone, on the 25th of August for this External Providers Monitoring Group meeting for CGI. So I'll just read the normal script before we start. Members and all attendees are advised that the public business in this meeting is being live streamed for public view and also recorded. By participating in the meeting, attendees give consent for this. The recording will be available through the link to the event live stream on the Council website for public viewing for 180 days afterwards. The recording will then be automatically deleted after this time. You're reminded that the Council does not allow any other recording of the meeting other than this. Okay, thank you, and on to the agenda. So we'll start with any apologies for absence.
Yes, Chair, we've had apologies from Councillors Bathgate, Greenwell, Carol Hamilton and Thornton Nicol this morning.
Thank you very much. Order of business. I have no intention to change the order of business this morning. And thirdly, declarations of interest. Please be reminded to actually declare any interest at the moment now with a brief description of why or when that agenda item comes up. Okay, on to item number 4, the minutes. Does anyone have any issues or observations in the minutes? Nope. I have one in that I don't appear to be listed as present, and I did chair the meeting. I double checked for the video.
Yes, so Chair, I did catch that this morning, so that will be noted in today's meeting. I apologise for that.
That's okay. To be honest, I did just double check by watching the video, but I was there. Okay, thank you. I'm now on to agenda item 5. So I'll pass on to our Director of Finance, Susie Douglas, and she can introduce CGI. Thanks, Susie.
Great, thank you. Just very briefly, so the covering report in your pack today, members, presents key information with respect to the CGI contract for the second quarter of the calendar year, so that's up to the end of June 26, and also key updates on performance. The covering report provides a summary of the slides that CGI colleagues will take you through this morning. You're all familiar with Lindsay Tees and Jeff Endersby, and we also have Tom Gutsall with us this morning, who I'm aware some of you may not have met. So I'll just pass over to CGI colleagues for introductions and to take us through the presentation this morning.
Thank you, Susie. So, yeah, Susie, as you said, I've been here a number of times. I'm the Senior Vice President in CGI, responsible for everything that we do across local government. And we have just recently appointed Tom Gutsall here, who's on today for the first time, as the Interim Vice President responsible solely for Scottish Borders Council to boost the leadership team and the focus that we've got on Scottish Borders. So Tom, will just let you say hello to everybody before we get started.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the introduction. I have taken the role on, I think now it's probably been a couple of months. So very happy to be here. Thanks for having me, and very keen to start to, I guess, support yourselves with all the priorities we've got, not just from a technical perspective, but everything you're looking to do across the region.
Thanks, Tom, and welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And as Susie said, you also have Jeff on today, who's a familiar face, been on here for a number of times and is going nowhere. So thank you very much. You've got the full team today. Okay, we'll get started just to walk through the slide deck then. Thanks very much, Jeff, for popping that up on the screen. If we can move through, we've got the standard agenda that we always take you through, and we'll just go on to actions. Yep, thank you, Jeff. So I think this is probably the last time that we can talk about each of these. Actually, we can close them down now as we move them through completion and into BAU. So we've spoken before about the signage in Tweed Bank that was put up in May, so that can be closed down. We're now well advanced into the quarterly recruitment events that we've been having. We're doing those across both employment groups and into schools as well, and some really excellent feedback in the education space. So again, we'll just continue with that as we go forward, and it is later on in the agenda too. And then last time that we met, we spoke about the change improvement programme, and that's the bid space where we have the new request from the council and turn that into proposals and then into new work. And we've got an update just in the next slide actually on that. But again, that's well progressed through, is now achieving the KPI that we've got in place, and we're just taking that through closure with the council's management team and getting that into BAU as well. So some great progress that's been made there, I'm delighted to say. Are there any questions on that, or shall I move forward?
I'm not seeing any hands up.
Perfect, thank you, Councillor. Perfect, we'll move on. Okay, so this is the slide that we report each time, just to make clear that we're all of the contractual governance forums that we should have been had. In addition to that, we just yesterday met with the the Executive Review Board, and just last week met with the council management team as well to look at how we actually support the council in strategic priorities and innovation. So that session that we've got noted just at the bottom of the slide there around the innovation forum, that will be the fallout of that meeting that we had with the CMT just last week. So we're going to dovetail the council's strategic priorities into innovation and what we can do to enable the council in those going forward. And we're going to get that session in due course. So more to follow on that. I think that's a really positive step to move us forward here. There's nothing else that I was going to call out on that governance schedule. So if that's okay, we'll move forward. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, so this is the summary on the change recovery approach. So we, in the bottom right there, we've pulled just the extract from the slides that we looked at previously. And just as a bit of a recap, we explained that we did a circa 6-month turnaround programme where we looked at putting in very fundamental foundational level reporting, but to give us transparency in all of the requests and where they were. We then amended the KPI to start working on a pilot basis to a 15-day turnaround KPI instead of the 10 that had been in place for various reasons that we've taken the council through. And delighted to say, with the exception of April, we have since February passed that KPI each month with the 15-day turnaround there. And in addition to that, which I think is even more important to the council, when we started this work, there were over 40 aged backlog requests that the council had made to CGI for changes that it wanted to be made to the state or new solutions to be added and projects to be done that had been sitting for quite some periods of time and hadn't been addressed. And clearly that was the frustration at that point in time. But I'm delighted to say that's been burned down to nil now. So we have no aged backlog requests. And then the last piece is just moving that all into enduring process and business as usual as we go forward. And we're just embedding that in now, and I expect over the next couple of weeks, actually, that will be fully done and dusted and we take that forward. So some really positive work that's been done there, working hand in hand with the council, because clearly we need to make sure that whatever processes we propose to put in place also work for the council team as well. So it's been a really collaborative piece of work there to get that through. So I have nothing more to add, to be honest, on that. So I will just pause. I know we've had conversations about this in the past and it being an area where the KPI had been failed for a number of years. So just pause to see if there's any questions on that.
I'm not seeing any hands up. I think I will just pick up on that, though. Obviously, as you say, it's been an issue for a long time and it's great to see this turnaround. But I guess I'm assuming that was some concentrated effort on that to achieve that. Do you feel confident that that is sustainable and we're going to stably be able to move forward positively with this?
Yeah, yes, Councillor. That was one of the key things that we wanted to ensure going into, that this wasn't a stick and plaster where we have a concerted effort, burn it down, and then we don't have the existing processes in place that make sure that that's then maintained and the team walk away from it and it just starts to rise back up again. So absolutely, that's why that last block on the right hand side is so important, to make sure this is now into enduring process on an ongoing basis. So as well as that burn down exercise, we have completely overhauled the ongoing process to make sure that that will be maintained, and we will clearly monitor that very closely as well.
Okay, that's very reassuring. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not seeing any more hands up, so please continue.
Perfect, no worries, we'll move through, please, Jeff. So then we're into the project updates. There's 3 slides in here and many of them you're very familiar with. So I'm just going to talk through on this slide a few of these. So first of all, Office 365 is a very long-standing project. I think Councillor Thornton-Nicol previously called out, and she was right to say at the very outset, did we oversimplify that and we didn't get it right? And I think that hit the nail on the head, to be honest. So we have encountered lots of technical issues as we go through that, but I'm really pleased to say that those have been overcome. We've now got the latest technical solution just going through testing right now, and it looks positive. That will let us then do the remainder of that work and move that through to completion. And then we have a validation period in the back of it to make sure that all of the work that's been done is correct. So whilst that is a very long-standing and delayed project, we are now into the final throes of that, and I look forward to in the future being able to report that one as complete. And that will then give us a platform for future data transformation as well. It's a real foundation within there. So more to follow on that one. If I move across into Camino to Cloud, that is on hold at the moment, and the reason primarily that that's on hold is we were moving to a third-party solution that's provided by a vendor called Civica, who operate a number of systems and solutions across local government, UK-wide and globally. This project was to move to a new product that they had that's named W3, but the council, as they moved into testing, had concerns about the suitability of that project, that product. But in tandem, there's been some UK-wide concerns raised on that, and a court case as well with a council in England. So at the moment that is on hold whilst we work that through with the council and with Civica to determine how that is going to move forward. In the meantime, however, Civica are continuing to provide the existing solution that was in place. It doesn't impact the council services there. And they have confirmed that that will be maintained and supported on an ongoing basis. But clearly we need to have a commercial conversation with them going forward, and we'll do that with the council in tandem. If I move across onto the uniform hosted solution, then this one, the key point on this is actually the solution has been live since early 2025, February 2025. There's just one final server that needs to be decommissioned on that, but it is dependent upon that first project I spoke about, the Office 365 project. So as soon as that is done, that will be completely closed down. But from a business impact and perspective, that is closed and complete, and the system has been live and in use for quite some period of time. Down onto the bottom left, another very long-standing project that we had, that's Business World to Cloud. That is very close to completion. We have had a slight delay just from a third-party supplier that we have in use, and we have a security matter that we're working through to close off with mitigation. You have no security issue as it stands right now. It's preventing there being an issue going forward, so I need to be really clear on that. And then we will get that one through to completion as well, and that will be another one that has been there for quite some period of time, which will be good to close down. And then the last two on this page, these are both more recently mobilised projects that started over the last year. So Evotex Protective Services and Adelanti Smart Pay. And we're delighted to say that both of those have been brought to completion, and therefore that will be the last time that you will see both of these on here. So the final reporting on those, and both have been very well received by the business. So nothing more to add on that slide. Again, I'll just pause though to see if there are any questions there.
Just looking, I'm not seeing any hands up. Okay, I'll just maybe squeeze a little bit on this one. So coming back, as you said, you've mentioned quite a bit Office 365, Business World. Are these genuinely deliverable? Do you mean, no, we've watched them slip quarter on quarter, and in particular as well, you've got about 4 or 5 business days left for Business World if it's going to be August. So do you believe these revised dates are going to be met?
From a delivery perspective, yes, they will be met. The one that was saying about Office 365 is then the validation period that we'll have, and we're looking to put validation in place for 3 months with that one as we go through that, and we're working that with the council. But yes, we're confident in what we've got here.
Okay, thank you very much. I see no hands up.
Thank you, Jeff. If we can flick on, please. Okay, on here, I'll talk about the 3 blue first, actually, and the first one, again, I think might actually be one of the very original transformation programmes, which I can't believe I'm going to say, but Link to Teams migration has finally, and I will say it for you, been closed down. The last area that we had to work that through with was the contact centre, and clearly this is a very important solution for the contact centre to use and impacts their service. So we had to very carefully work through that with that area in terms of the planning. We also upgraded the solution that the contact centre was using at the same time, just add a bit more complexity to it, but that's a real positive, and delighted to say that now that is complete. So that is a real win for us, and I think everyone will be delighted to never say the words Link to Teams ever again. I'll say it again for you. Then onto the middle column, another 2 projects there, the NEC Housing project, which is also known as Jasper. We've gone live with that, so that'll be the last time that we report on that one too. And similarly for Corporate Autodesk, which was a very complex project, but is now complete and fully in service too. So some real successes there. And then the last 2 on that page that we call out, CAMS and the Bartek Jadu integration, both of those are planned to go live in September. We're working through that in earnest with the teams. They're making really great work on there, nothing to flag of concern on those at this point in time. So again, I'll just pause on those to see if there's anything to add on it.
Thanks, Lindsay. I see no hands up and no questions on this one. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Jeff, the last projects update slide that we've got. So again, these are very familiar to you. I'll do again either side of the slide that we've got there. So the CCTV programme has been in and live since March. You all know there was a discussion around the remaining 10 cameras, which we have now deployed. There was a final consultation piece that had to be done on that and just establish the location for the final cameras there. That has gone forward. We are just having some final conversations with the council around ongoing maintenance, but specifically cleaning of the cameras and just planning that through with the councils, and that'll be the final piece to just close that down in its entirety. But as I say, that solution has been live for a number of months now. And then similarly over on the right hand side with school telephony, we've reported this again as fully live. I think the last time that we met, we had 1 school that was remaining to go. That is fully in. We have had very positive feedback on that. I think the last time that we met, there was a question mark raised around if parents were able to contact the schools and if dropped calls essentially weren't being answered, if that was going to be cut off. We have looked at that with the processes that we've got with the schools, and they have ways in which to record that and establish if that is going to be a problem, and we're not seeing anything coming through there that is a problem. So just to give you some peace of mind that we have addressed that point from the previous discussion that we had. And then the very middle column that we've got there in terms of curricular refresh, we have completed 2 of the early adopter sites, which were really successful there. And we have very detailed plans in place to complete all of the remaining schools. We have the governance forum in place with the council and the right representatives from both the council across the business and into CGI there, and we're managing that closely. We have got that amber just because it is a very, very tight time frame, and obviously with the schools, if you miss certain windows, then you can impact periods when we have exams or school holidays within there. So we're managing that to plan very, very closely there. So amber at the moment just because it's a very tight timeline, but it is working very well at this point in time.
Thank you, Lindsay. And the school telephony one was extremely reassuring as well. And we do have a question about Councillor Hamilton, Scott.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, no, I think you've probably answered the first part, which was really around kind of those 2 projects there regarding the schools. It's just about the impact on any school children, but I think you've covered that's a well-managed process. I was just going to ask a maybe more question off to the side there regarding the Newtown Primary School and obviously the situation that we've had there with the fire, and then obviously moving into Council HQ. I just wonder to what extent CGI has been involved in that, and obviously in terms of rollout of technology and that infrastructure, is that been a successful project linked slightly to what we're talking about here?
Absolutely. I'll do it at the very highest level and then I'll pass to Tom because he's been dealing with the council's management team and the service lines throughout there. But yes, we had the urgent ask when the incident arose, and so we're involved from the very outset there in looking at establishing what the situation was in the existing school and then the plans to move and make sure that that school was ready. Tom, I'll let you come in so you can, I won't steal your glory because it's gone very well, but I'll let you go for that.
Yeah, sure. I think Lindsay touched on it. We've gone through what has felt like a very collaborative approach to get HQ back up and running. We were planning for the 17th of August, I think it was, but we actually brought that date forward to work towards the 13th when the teachers were going to come in and start to look at the kind of workspace. I think being quite new to the account, I've seen the strength of the relationships that we've got across the team and the technical but also the business understanding that some of the CGI team Kerry and Tracy, who work in our team in particular, have been on site regularly and working with Nick, Susie, and the rest of the council IT team. So I feel like it's been a very successful piece of work that we've done together. And terrible things happen, but has helped us kind of demonstrate and build some relationships. Not least myself, actually, very early on within the role.
Thanks, Tom. Sorry, Lindsay, did you want to come back in there?
No, I was just thanking Tom for that. Sorry, Councillor. Okay.
Yeah, no, not a problem at all. Lynn, would you like to come in? I see your hand up.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry, Chair, but Karen's reporting a slight technical issue and she's concerned the recording may drop off. Would it be okay to adjourn just for a minute or two until we sort that out, please?
Absolutely not a problem at all.
Thank you. I'll just take us to adjournment just now. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're live again, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and apologies to anyone out there. There was potentially a technical glitch, so we just wanted to double check, but hopefully we're confident none of the narrative was lost. So I just want to come back in on the back of Councillor Hamilton's question about basically mobilising the telephony, etc. with CGI, and it was just a very positive story. Excellent question, and really reassuring to hear, how well you work together, and pulling it in from the 17th of August to the 13th is fantastic as well. So Tom, guess right up to the coal face immediately with your new role, but it sounds like it all went extremely well. So thank you, and no more hands are up, so we can move on.
Thank you, and thank you very much for that feedback. We will feed that down to the teams because they will be absolutely delighted to hear that, so we appreciate it. Okay, Jeff, if we could move on, I think we're then into the service sections. So you're again very familiar with these slides. So we've spoken through probably a couple of these areas already, but from a successes perspective, we are calling out there that we are now moving to completion in a number of these long-standing projects. The successful completion of the early adopter sites and curricular modernisation, the curricular refresh programme we just spoke through, that's really important for us to get that right. And clearly bedding in that new change process that we spoke about earlier on, which will help us all then going forward. In terms of some of the issues, we obviously had that period in April where we didn't pass the KPI for KPI 25, and we're just working that through to make sure that that is completely bedded in, but take some comfort from May and June that has been met. And then the other areas that we've just got some concerted effort at the moment. So we have been working with the Council's finance team just to simplify the underpinning finance model that has built over a number of years and just has become overly complex. So we're looking to get that finalised and issued out, and we will start that at the start of the CGI new financial year, which is the 1st of October, but that also aligns actually with the Borders and CGI contract year. So it's quite clean from that perspective. perspective. And then the last piece that we're working through is all of the infrastructure designs and design backlogs that we had on curricula, but pleased to say those have been burned through and we'll take them forward. So it is all moving in the right direction within there. Jeff, will let you move forward, please, onto that. So again, you're very familiar with these slides, and I won't go through them in a huge amount of detail, but these are the contractual KPIs that we report against. The only area that, again, you have heard about for a number of times is that change management KPI, where we have reported that to the contractual letter of the 10 days. We haven't met that, but we have passed that pilot new measure and we'll work through with the council just to finalise that. So I'm delighted to say that the service has been stable over that period of time and no issues to call out on this slide. Jeff, if there are no questions here, we'll just move forward. So the next couple of slides are very familiar to you as well. So these are the wider then quality level. So whilst these aren't contractual KPIs, we report on these as predictive indicators if there were any issues. But again, there's nothing that we are calling out within here that would be of concern at all to the council. So no formal complaints. We just discussed previously what we do have in place, though, is in the service desk. The customer feedback, customer satisfaction is there. And so if we have any issues that have been raised through there, we do follow those up. None of those have resulted in formal complaints, and I'm delighted to say that our customer satisfaction is on average over 90%, which is excellent in terms of the feedback that we get. There have been no security breaches in that period of time. In terms of the updates and the upgrades on the council estate, we've spoken about all of those that we've got there on the right hand side. Those are happening all the time just to make sure that all of your systems and solutions are maintained, current and stable for the council. So that's the proactive work that goes on all of the time just to maintain that for you. Again, I'll just pause to see if there's any questions. Not fine, Jeff. You're one step ahead of me, Jeff. Yep, go to continuous service improvement and then we can see if there's any questions at the end of it there. Oh, sorry, Councillor.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, if you want to go on, no, go on. I'll come in at the end. That's fine.
No worries. Okay, thank you. So on continuous service improvement, we've called this out for a number of times now. So we track the number of essentially ideas that our teams come forward with, and also that the client may bring to us as well, so in terms of the business service lines there, and track them through. So I wasn't going to propose to put to go through these in a lot of detail, but just to give you a flavour of some of the areas that are coming through, which are very rarely major changes that need to be done, but they can be things that frustrate the teams and how they do their day job each day. So the real positives that we're working those through, and Thomas and Jeff are working with the teams just to encourage more of those as they come through. But nice to see that constant evolution there. So I will just pause at that point in time, Councillor, and I'll let you come in here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm just double checking any hands up, any other questions. There's not. So, I mean, I think, well done, 40. I think there was a backlog of about 40 and they've all been cleared, which is great. And obviously you've acknowledged as well is that the KP 125 is still below the contractual target. When do you think we're going to see sustained compliance within, the contractual KPIs across the board? What type of timescale? Because it is obviously just ongoing.
Yeah, that's the conversation actually we started to have with the CMT last week, and we're taking forward with Susie actually. So for the 10-day KPI is exceptionally difficult to meet, not just because of CGI's processes, but also because of review times and input times that we need from the council. So therefore, what we have seen across all of our local government clients is that move to 15 makes that achievable. What we are having a conversation with the council on is, well, that feels like a concession that the council needs to make. So what then do they get in return? So if we're moving to 15 days from 10 that was originally contracted, do we then make the pass rate of those higher so that actually you have 15 days but higher target to achieve? So we're looking to finalise that over the next 2 months so that actually we can then put that to bed, and we'll revise that contractual measure, but we'll take that through the council's governance at that point in time.
Okay, thank you. So can we expect to see obviously an update on that then in the next quarterly reviews?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
excellent.
Thank you. Okay, Jeff, if you don't mind, we can move forward. Yeah, and this is then just into, you've seen this slide a number of times, but the application service. So we spoke it through on the previous slide, just in the number of updates and upgrades that are going through. those are the things that let us then report this green when you have that stability of service across the piece, which I'm delighted to report no issues within here. And Jeff will move forward. Okay. Now we're into some of the more fun, nicer things that we are doing. So we have called out the CGI in the community. So we've spoken about it previously with the number of kit sponsorships, and I think there was a concern previously around the dominance of Melrose. So we have got other sponsorships that have gone through the Gordon Music Festival. We are also in discussions with the council about sponsoring the book festival for next year, and a number of awards events as well. So we've had one that unfortunately the council wasn't successful in winning, but was the only Scottish council to be nominated in these awards, which was absolutely fantastic, and we were delighted to sponsor and support the council on that. And there's another one on Friday of this week too. Outside of that, we've spoken about it before, but the teams really love to do the local community events. So we have had a litter pick, we have had food bank donations, and the team are working through just their calendar of events on other things that they will be doing going forward. So yeah, there's a real focus just on that community piece there.
Hey, Lindsay, thank you. See no hands up, and I think it was me that did mention that the dominance in Melrose, and I'll just be totally honest, you know, Tweed Bank is a stone's throw from Melrose, so I still feel it's quite localised, and it would be really good to hear or see, you know, ways of reaching out and making, you know, the wider community understand the potential that they could be, you know, partnered with CGI. So it'd be good to hear any ideas you've got about that, because I still think we should be broadening the net. It still seems quite geographically focused.
No, you're right, and that's something that myself, Tom and Jeff are actually picking up with the teams, because any of the we call them partners, but the staff within CGI can apply for this funding for any sports group that they have, and we have seen it in the past with dance groups and things, so they do it wider than that. And it is never rejected in terms of the funding, so they can do that once a year, and it's £500 per employee that we have that they can put towards sponsorships. So we are just pushing that out to the teams just to ensure that that's at the fore of their minds, that they can put those applications through. Often we also see that their colleagues from the council will come, and there's a discussion more recently in terms of a mental health department within the council, and we're just working that one through as well in terms of how we can support it. So you're right, I think we need to make sure that there isn't that kind of dominance in one area. But I do feel on this, it's just hopefully a timing issue, and you'll see more diversity coming through in terms of the geographic footprint and what we're supporting then going forward.
Okay, that sounds great, Lindsay. And we have a question, Councillor Anderson. James.
Yeah, just on that same point. How many years ago was it we had this exact same problem? I don't think you were the chair at the time, Lee. And there was an effort made to get the information out to all the councillors, and the application forms were made accessible to us, and we ended up with sort of 18 months of a really good spread across the whole of the borders. What happened to that? Because we have asked for this previously, and it was looked at, and it seems to have dropped off the face of the earth, and we're back to being central borders only. So what happened to the process that was put in place the last time?
Apologies, I'm not aware of that, and obviously I took over responsibility for borders just over about 18 months ago now, so apologies that wasn't in place when I've taken that on and haven't been cited on that, but I'm absolutely supportive of that. So Tom and I will pick that up with the team and we'll get that out to you, yeah, and more than happy to support that on an ongoing basis.
And I think, Lindsay, that was before my time as well. I don't recall that, so we'll need to re-energise that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we will do that.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
See no more hands up, Lindsay.
Perfect. We'll move forward onto the next slide there. Please, Jeff. Just a couple of highlights to call out here. So we report on clearly the number of staff that we have in borders and the number that wider are working across the any borders activity at any point in time. And we have reported to you in the past around the 3 apprentices that we have working in the region, supporting borders too. Delighted to see we have another apprentice joining next month who lives in the Scottish Borders Council region. And we have a number of planned other activities coming on the horizon. So the week commencing the 26th of October, we are bringing our cyber escape room to Tweedbank. We are doing that in support of the Care Experience Week, working with the council teams there so that they can bring care experienced young people through the cyber escape room, but also we'll open that up with support from the council into others that want to attend that. So we're just planning that through at the moment with the relevant council team. We are also planning a STEM camp. Similar to, we run an annual conference for CGI, and we usually do that in St Andrews each year. But the individuals from the council, Scottish Borders Council, who attended that previously, loved what we did and asked if we could bring that locally. So we're just looking to plan that through and find the right site and bring that down as well. And then the very last thing, just to make you aware of, that isn't on here, but we are just planning through too, is we're working with Catherine Thompson in the education team to look at a series of promotional videos so she can talk and use those publicly around what digital is doing in that education space, not just in terms of digital education, but actually more widely in terms of cyber and security training and awareness across those teams. There's lots of different angles on there too. So again, more to come on those as we go forward, but we've just started the planning on each of them. So some really exciting work that's happening there.
Thank you, Lindsay. And Councillor Anderson, James.
Sorry, I must be in a griping mood today. I'm going to take over from Councillor Rowley, who always used to keep an eye on the employment figures. That's still quite low for the Borders. I can't remember the exact number that's in the contract, but at the same time, I've been keeping an eye on how you advertise and try and get people in the Borders. I haven't seen anything out there in the public domain that says, please come and work for us, we have job opportunities. And previously, before your time, it was agreed that that would be more visible and would be pushed harder, and that seems to have disappeared as well. So can we have a bit more focus on that?
Absolutely. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. We are running under the contractual level that we have. We do have open-ended recruitment within there, and all roles that we have that can be done remotely are available on our website. And then we had reported through this forum previously in feedback from Councillor Thornton Nicholl around there being some challenges on the recruitment website, where if they were putting in Scottish Borders as a region, you couldn't find remote roles. So we have made changes on that to make that much more intuitive and easier to use, which had been reported positively through there. On the next slide, we do have the summary of the recruitment activity that we've been doing, which is working with the employability teams in the council and the education teams. So we are doing that with each of those to promote CGI and also promote them in terms of career plans and wider coaching and things like that there too. I will look with their marketing teams though, just in terms of if there's something more overt we should be doing about CGI as an employer locally there, to see if there's anything we need to do about promoting it just that bit more widely. Just based on your feedback, we'll take that one away and have a look at that too in terms of what more can be done.
If you could look at the social media side of things, because that was requested before as well, because we do have as elected members, we have a good stretch across the Borders. And if there's something to share, you want people that are online. Social media is the way to go, and we need that advert, that information to share it, and we still haven't got that.
Absolutely, we'll take that away and get we'll look at that specifically. Thank you. I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you, James. And Lindsay, I was actually going to ask something similar to James. What is the local target threshold? I couldn't remember either. I read, we've got 59, 3 apprentices, 1 will come in. What is the contractual target again? Can you remind us?
So apologies, I will need to revert, but I know that it's over 100, so I know that we are quite a bit shy of that. Yeah. I would need to pull that out to get the specific number. We do have conversations ongoing with the council in terms of, and it's all this work that we're looking at with local sponsorship as well to raise our profile with the recruitment events that go, and with that open-ended remote roles. So it can be that you come to work with CGI and don't actually work in support of Scottish Borders Council, because you could be working in our office or at home and working on the service desk, for instance, supporting another client down south. So we do have that open-ended recruitment as we go through there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We do still struggle to meet the target that we've got there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it would be good just to get a bit more information on that at the next quarterly review. But I do want to thank you as well for the minutes. Previously, we did ask for a much more of a deep dive for the information there, so it absolutely has been delivered this time. So thank you for that. Councillor Anderson, I see you'd like to come back in.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just we've had this contract running for a number of years, and it's always been kicking on just about 50% of the people employed that are supposed to be. Is there any consideration for a reduction in the contractual fee because you're not employing half the amount of people that you should?
That hasn't been a discussion, and we can pick that up with Susie and the council management team. I think the key thing is that the service is still being provided to the council in terms of contractual service, but absolutely, and we can take that away with Susie and others.
Yeah, it would be good to get those figures for the next time, so we can compare, because if we're getting half the number of staff, obviously it's quite profitable if you're only paying half the wage bill but still doing the same work.
Sorry, I see your angle. Yeah, we certainly don't, which is why in the previous slide I'd said around across the UK we have up to 90 other people delivering the service from across the UK remotely into Borders. So we certainly don't have half of the staff providing the service that should be. And we also have annually financial reporting that we provide to the council that shows if that was the case, which it isn't. It would then trigger a gain share mechanism and monies would go back to the council. So we go through that governance regime with the council and the finance team and the management team within there. So no, we still have those roles filled, because ultimately, back to my point, we have a contractual service that needs to be delivered and is being delivered to the council.
Okay, thank you.
I guess the only thing I'd want to add to that as well, I would rather we still aim high and get more local employment and just look at, what we can put in place to achieve that, as opposed to sort of, deciding, we can't achieve it, let's just bring down the targets. So I think we should focus on, more ways of getting more local people into employment, and look forward to hearing, more on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I see no other hands up, so Lindsay, move on please. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So we've touched on some of this here and we spoke about it at the start, and that then draws us, just going to say, Jeff's one step ahead of me, draws us to the close of the public presentation. So Susie, I think I'll pass back to you and to the chair. Thank you.
Yeah, happy to pass back to you, Councillor Douglas.
Thank you, Susie. Okay, item 6, any other items previously circulated? I can confirm there are none. Any other items which the chair decides are urgent? Again, I can confirm there are none. So if everyone's in agreement, we can approve the motion, hopefully, to move into private business.
Agree.
No objection. Thank you. We can just come off the live stream, please.